And then in the hate speech study, because there's so much data, these machines, they need a lot of data. Machine learning is very data hungry. So it's kind of difficult to generate that many examples of hate speech. So what they did is they collected lots of tweets, and then they hired people on one of those platforms like Fiverr or Upwork, somewhere else, to just label them as hate speech or not. And the process was really sloppy in general. So they didn't do a very good job. So yeah, that raises a lot of questions.
Emmanuel, one of the biggest takeaway messages from your book that I got was that I don't think AI or machine learning, whatever terminology we want to use, is nowhere near as advanced as we think it is. And the media, when Elon Musk and Bill Gates and these other, Mark Zuckerberg, talk about how we need regulation, we're going to create World War III, it really builds you up to think we're really close to some type of a robot or iRobot or one of these movies. And I read a quote that described ChatGPT as a bullshitter on steroids. But it reminded me of one of your articles that you wrote called Amazon's Cashierless Stores, Artificial Intelligence or Major Deception. And you mentioned about how they have these centers basically in India and Costa Rica. And then you're also mentioning Kenya now. You mentioned the example of Amazon Fresh, where you go into a store and you just walk out the store and it automatically charges you for things you never even interact with the cashier. I lived in Costa Rica for a while. I went to a Spanish immersion school, and I have a friend that worked at Amazon. So I contacted her before we started, and I was like, hey, what were you doing? Because I knew she was doing something with AI. And she was basically like, yeah, I watched cameras all day and just to make sure the machine was in the right location. And then she's like, there was actually several of us that were watching the same machine, so they wanted to verify with numerous people. Like you mentioned in that Amazon Fresh example, where you walk out of the store and then maybe you get a receipt like a day later. If it was actual AI, that receipt should be pretty close, maybe not instantaneously, but it should be within a few minutes. Why are you giving a receipt a day later? Or is someone in Costa Rica or India or Kenya actually looking at cameras? And the answer to the question is probably, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's been leaked, so that's known.